Chapter 20. Stunt Challenges. In 1982, I was asked to take part in a show for ITV, where stuntmen would compete against one another over a series of challenges to see who the best was. My old mate Lewis Collins was presenting the show, and all this would be filmed on the back lot at Pinewood Studios. Martin Grace, Richard Graydon, Mike Potter, Eddie Eden, Willie Morgan, Nick Gillard and I all took part and had to jump a motorcycle over an obstacle, then slide it under a limbo pole, jump 30 feet from a roof, jousting, and a car challenge. The stuntman with the most points was the winner. And what do you know? I only went and won the bloody thing. Well, Lewis presented me with a lovely cup, and it was well received on the TV when it was shown a year later. The success of the first show led to the makers of Stunt Challenge to crack on with a second show the following year. I was asked to perform a one-of-a-kind gag. I had to drive under a trailer where the roof would come off, and then I'd drive the roofless car up a ramp and roll it over. Well, this was going to take some doing, but what a stunt. We'd prepped the car so when it hit the trailer, the roof would come off easily, providing I had plenty of momentum. The tricky part was rolling the car over without a roof. A car turnover relies on there being a roof to roll onto or over on. The stuntman also relies on a roll cage that's placed inside the car and around the roof, which will prevent the roof from caving in upon impact. So when you don't have a roof or a roll cage, it becomes very dangerous indeed. I opted to have handholds to push against as the car rolled over. These kept me against the seats and would prevent me from falling onto the ground and being crushed by the car I was driving. The car went up the ramp and began to roll. I saw sky, followed by ground, followed by pitch black. Next thing I remember is the other stunt guys and the safety boys rolling the car back over before Derek Thompson, who was presenting, stuffed a mic in my face and asked me how I felt after the stunt. I was beaten into second place this year behind Roy Alon, who reversed a van through an articulated lorry. Well, I was on a roll, so with that in mind, I went on to do the following year's show as well. The stunts were getting bigger and better with each year. I was to drive a car in and out of many other vehicles, roll it over, and then get set on fire. It went well, it looked great on screen, but I was beaten again by Greg Powell this time, who was rolling an articulated lorry. I was to have taken part in the 1985 show, but my injury on Death Wish 3 prevented me from taking place. I was to pipe roll a car through the side of a lorry, which would have been one hell of a ride. But Greg Powell took my place and did it for me. Did a great job too. They were good days, and I believe they got the format right after the first year. It became more of a storyboard action sequence than a contest to find out who the best was. Sadly, it all came to an end after the accident on the Late Late Breakfast show where a member of the public was killed. From that moment on, Stunt Challenge was no more.